All right. We're going to be doing another episode of the Creatives Talk Crypto podcast at some point in the coming week, but up until this point, we wanted to try and maybe give a couple instructional videos to give people a little bit of an insight into maybe some of the details into how this works. We wanted to try and keep the podcast mostly conversational, trying to take away a lot of the stigma involving technical requirements and price valuations and investing, and we really wanted to keep it about creatives and creative people learning about how to use cryptocurrency technologies that are going to kind of elevate the way that we do things more so than focusing on all of the kind of mainstream hype around them and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that kind of stuff. So to give you a little bit of an instructional video so we can keep our main podcast conversational, I'm going to run through some of the Theta Network stuff just kind of solo here today. And I've got a couple of tabs open here, and we're going to run through them. And hopefully this will serve as like a good intro video for people that maybe check out the podcast later if it garners some attention, and then we can reference people back to this one if they're looking for more of a general rundown. Because we're gonna try and keep the general podcast more about performances and talking to artists and musicians and stuff like that. All right, so we pop open to our screen share situation here. All right, so there's three main tabs here. We've got the first tab is thetatoken.org, and that's the main website if you want to learn about the actual company and like the Theta Labs, the behind the scenes tech of what they're doing. Theta Wallet is what we'll mention a little bit after we go through the other stuff. It's a little bit more complex. Not really much more complicated than making a profile anywhere. There's just a little bit of added security because it does involve currency and money. And I'm going to link to a bunch of videos that are like complete walkthroughs of how to do this stuff. I'm not going to do a complete walkthrough. I'm going to kind of ideally familiarize everyone with these different interfaces and then link to reliable YouTubers that have good walkthroughs, and many of them are actually available on the Theta website themselves. So if you actually go to Wallet, that links you to the wallet. That's actually a good thing to keep in mind too. Before I kind of get into anything else, you have to be careful about scams, and I think that's why there's still so much stigma and fear around cryptocurrencies, is because there's still a lot of sketchy people doing scams and pretending to be tech support and be like, oh, give me your recovery seed phrase and I'll help you do your thing, and then all of your money's gone. It happens over and over again. There's been fake wallets in Google, like Google Play Store, Apple Store, things like that. So it's best, anything crypto, it's best to make sure you're on the legitimate website. And then if you want to make sure you're getting the legitimate wallet, you can click that there, and you're getting the proper wallet. So before we dive, and then the third tab is Theta Live. We'll kind of go through that a little bit. Theta TV is not booming in terms of the amount of visitors on there, but it's a great example to show you what they're doing with the technology and actually having it in practice. And this page I have open here, the brand partners, are pretty interesting because these are different people that have partnered up with Theta to display their content 24/7 on kind of like a live TV network. So we got NASA TV 24/7, World Poker Tour. I'm not sure what Shout Factory is. I'm gonna check out a lot of these personally myself still, and it's kind of cool. So we'll start with a little bit of sip of coffee. Ooh, it's hot still. And then we'll dig into a little bit of the behind the scenes of like what is Theta Network. So with crypto, a lot of people know about Bitcoin, of course, and more recently Dogecoin, these different meme things. Maybe some people have heard of Ethereum and some other cryptocurrencies. But I guess long story short, because I'm by no means an expert, I just started really reading about this a few months ago. Most people, myself included, used to think cryptocurrencies were just money. They were all like Bitcoin. Everything functioned like Bitcoin. They just had different names and maybe slightly different ways of running, but they were all just currency. And that's far from the truth. It's such a interesting area of development where there's essentially a lot of these companies. A lot of the tokens are done similar to how a company would have initial public offering on the stock market. They call them initial coin offerings, and they're ways to raise capital for the project if you believe in the project. And because this space is so new, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. Most of the projects you see probably will never actually make it. That's what's kind of the interesting thing about it. It's volatile. There's a lot of really incredible stuff going on. There's also a lot of literal scams going on and just people doing weird stuff. So you really have to make sure you're reading about whatever you're looking for. And hopefully, as a podcast, we're going to be able to give people some information about Theta specifically. We're not really worried about a lot of the other cryptos. And maybe remove some of the fear around using Theta and also encourage people to join the network. So we've got the main page here, Theta Network. The main purpose of it is a peer-to-peer decentralized video streaming. So instead of Bitcoin is like a currency where people are doing all of this decentralized cryptography, secure, all this type of stuff, anonymous type of money moving of currencies. But Theta Network is doing a moving of data and video. So they've actually got some pretty interesting partners, like Steve Chen, co-founder of YouTube, and a bunch of people on board. But if we move down to this is kind of their basic infograph of the problem that they're addressing. So typically, and once again, I'm probably going to say things wrong. I'm not an expert. That's kind of what I think makes this maybe more palatable for people, is I'm just kind of explaining in my own understanding of what this means. So typically we have this kind of bottleneck situation happening where you have a content creator that gets uploaded to a video platform, and then there's a centralized distribution that has to send out to all of those viewers individually. So some of the issues that we have with this, as you can see, we get issues with poor quality, skyrocketing data needs because more and more people are needing data, and the increased fidelity, 4K, 8K, VR, all of the different video meetings, all of the pandemic COVID stuff, all of the live streamed events that are happening. There's just the data needs are going up and things are getting expensive, and the centralized and inefficient system. So essentially what Theta is trying to do, and is doing successfully on a small to medium scale at the moment, is they're taking out this middleman of the centralized delivery network, and they're allowing a bunch of nodes to then relay all of that video content in fragments to each other. So instead of one centralized system paying all these fees to deliver the same video or the same stream or whatever data constantly out to all of these different viewers or downloaders or whoever, it will then go through a series of nodes where there's less coming from a centralized network, and it's getting split up and shared amongst a network of nodes which are run by people. And you get rewarded by running one of those nodes in their cryptocurrency called T-Fuel. So what's kind of funny is a funny connection with people knowing about crypto because of Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Dogecoin obviously had all the meme potential. Elon Musk tweeting about it, everyone on Twitch talking about it, all that kind of stuff. But was kind of funny, it was at the time, it was the same price as T-Fuel. And obviously this isn't something we talk about often on the podcast, and that's why I'm even kind of mentioning it in this separate video because we don't really want to talk about price and stuff. But since then, Dogecoin has not performed very well, and T-Fuel has doubled. Dogecoin doesn't have much of a utility besides tipping people yet, as we know it. The developers aren't active on it, but that's that could change. People could come back and work on it. People could volunteer to update it. That's totally possible. But T-Fuel is a very, very has very high potential of being essentially the utility token, the actual cost token in this network. So T-Fuel will be used to pay for the Theta Network to do its decentralized services. You get paid in T-Fuel as acting as a node. You can trade that T-Fuel for other currencies. You can cash out to your own US or Canadian dollars if you wish. You can tip other people on the streams with T-Fuel, and it's this whole kind of inner ecosystem of their own currency that they're creating within their own network. And it's kind of cool because you don't have to be like, oh, how do I buy Dogecoin, spend X amount of dollars, and then see it do whatever. Instead, you can just download an edge node, participate in the network. It uses a little bit of your excess computer resources that you typically don't use anyways, and you can earn cryptocurrencies that way without ever having to sign up to an exchange or anything like that. You don't need to pay your own money. You don't need to leverage your mortgage or anything crazy that people do. This is actually pretty interesting, and by doing that, you can build up the network in London and in general strengthen the Theta live streaming network so we can start benefiting through that as a group of creators with live streams and making things more self-sufficient instead of having to deal with the current monetization options we have, which are pretty brutal. So rant aside, the solution. So they've got, obviously this is going to be pretty vague. I'm essentially just going to be reading through the pages here with you, but hopefully it's at least compelling enough to pique some people's interest. So they've got validator nodes and guardian nodes, which are kind of the backbone to the network. So the validator nodes are people like these guys right here. We've got Google, Samsung, Binance, one of the largest, if not the largest, exchange, blockchain. Gumi, I believe, is a Japan-based video game company, I believe. And those validator nodes stake the Theta token, which is the governance token of the Theta network. Oh, getting lost here. So Theta has two tokens. They've got the Theta token, which is the governance token, and that helps the system actually run. And they've got T-Fuel, and T-Fuel is kind of the utility token, the thing that is going to allow you to use the network and participate with the network. So the Theta tokens are purchased and staked in order to, and this is where, I'm not sure where people's knowledge of blockchain and all this, it's probably going to fall off, but by staking these Theta tokens, you're strengthening the network and you're giving it security in a way. I guess that's the easiest way to sum it up. You're allowing it to operate. So you've got validator nodes and guardian nodes. Validator nodes are run by large companies, and they've got millions of Theta staked, and by staking that Theta, they're creating a whole bunch of T-Fuel as passive income. And I'd imagine the point of that is they're going to then use that T-Fuel in the network. So why would Google be staking Theta tokens? Well, they're getting a massive amount of T-Fuel every month, and they're going to be able to use that T-Fuel to potentially put Theta into the backbone of any of their content delivery systems, which is countless number of content delivery systems they operate. So you've got validator nodes, and guardian nodes are people like actually Solar Studios were running a guardian node, and the community that either had the capital to buy a minimum of 1,000 Theta tokens. Back then, it wasn't quite as an investment as it is now because everything's very expensive now. So between those validator nodes and guardian nodes, you're keeping the system going. I guess if without getting into tech stuff and blockchain stuff, those are keeping the system going and keeping it secure. And so they've got this whole kind of inner ecosystem here. Again, very new to this as well, so we're kind of discovering this together in a sense. Viewers, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my voice. Viewers earn rewards as Theta Fuel or T Fuel for sharing excess bandwidth and resources, and viewers are rewarded to participate in the network. So, if you're watching on Theta TV, you can earn T Fuel by watching one of these streams. If you're running an edge node, you can earn T Fuel by using some of your excess internet bandwidth and computing power to operate in the network. You can earn T Fuel by being a guardian node and staking your Theta. And those are all the different ways that you can then earn that currency and then use it within the system. Also, the fact that it's decentralized is going to allow higher quality, smoother video streaming, reduced costs of video streams because you're not going to have a central delivery network doing all the work. You're going to be able to split it up amongst a bunch of people running nodes and pay them micro payments in T-Fuel, so it's going to be cheaper for people as well. And it's an open source platform, so people are going to be still programming decentralized apps. So Theta is like an infrastructure. It can get confusing because you've got Theta TV here, but that's kind of separate. Theta TV is their example of how to implement the Theta network in a streaming service. But what they're actually looking to do is be the infrastructure for larger companies like Google and Binance and many more, I'm sure, on the works, for them to actually use the Theta network to make their content delivery cheaper and allow them to stream at a higher quality and reach more people, and endless things that are coming up. I guess we can go into the roadmap there for a little bit to see what they've got going on. So this is the roadmap for this year, and Q1, they've almost already done all of these things. A lot of this probably will be nonsense for people that don't know anything about cryptocurrency yet, so I'll try and just skim over it and go over the things that are more applicable generically. Something that's cool about NFTs, those are getting a lot of talk right now with celebrities because they stand for non-fungible token, and they're being used to lock digital art in the blockchain. So you can have, you're seeing certain YouTubers and musicians have, it's kind of like a fancy collector's item in a way, and they're going for a lot of money, which is kind of interesting. Theta uses NFTs for emotes and different, I'm sure it'll be for other things because Theta is the backbone, someone could develop an app just using Theta as the infrastructure and then create a token, mint their own token and create their own NFTs for their entirely own business model that has nothing to do with Theta TV or streaming at all. So it really goes endless. That's why it's kind of hard to talk about this sometimes because every day I'm learning new stuff. I'm sure I'm saying the wrong things. They're figuring stuff out too. It's fascinating, really, to be honest. So if we skip through the rest of the year to see what else they have going on. So edge compute is a pretty interesting concept where they're using their different edge nodes, which are primarily used to decentralize stream, to chop the video up into a bunch of tiny parts, shoot that out to a bunch of these nodes, and then they relay that to each other, and that's kind of the initial idea. But edge compute is using that same kind of decentralized technology to do video transcoding jobs. That's the one that's open right now. I've got an Edge node and a Guardian node running at the moment, and the Edge node's doing mostly video transcoding jobs and folding at home, which is Drew mentioned it a little bit in our podcast. It's kind of a to go over it briefly. It's kind of like doing computational stuff for vaccine research and other medicine and science-based computations. It's just kind of you're donating your excess computer use to then help out this group of people that are using that technology and those computations that you do for their research. I believe that's kind of the easiest way to talk about it. Coming in later in the year, they're going to be using the edge caching and the edge compute for things like game patches, software updates, machine learning, AI, and other compute-heavy jobs. So the same way that people mine Bitcoin, the same way that people set up these rigs to mine Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of these other cryptocurrencies, what I find really interesting about Theta is you're not just doing calculations with your computer to play this game to mine Bitcoin. You're actually doing real-world work. So you're either caching streams, you're helping patches or software get distributed throughout the network, you're doing potentially machine learning, AI, other compute-heavy stuff. You're actually doing real stuff. You're not just using up resources and energy for no reason, which is pretty cool. And it looks like here they're going to have, it's in beta right now, but as Solaris Studios, we're really excited for this, is the fully decentralized streaming app. So we're going to hopefully be streaming musicians on there and having our podcast on there, and we're really excited to be kind of on the somewhat ground floor of a new technology, and it's a lot of fun rather than feeling like you're constantly chasing what the industry is doing, which is completely a mess all the time. What also caught my eye at the end of 2021 is beta of edge storage. So all of these edge nodes, beyond the caching streams and edge computing, they're going to have edge storage where you're going to be able to set up a rack of SSD hard drives, and they're going to be able to kind of like cloud storage, but they're going to fragment it across the entire Theta Edge network, which is really cool. And obviously I'm not sure how exactly that's going to work, and I'm sure they're still figuring it out. That's why it's called beta. But the fact that all of this has real world use, they have real world partners, they're doing stuff, they're funded, they don't need people to buy their tokens, they don't like people talking about price, they don't like people, when you've got a company that doesn't like people speculating about the price constantly, you know that in my opinion, I like that characteristic. It means they really care about what they're doing in terms of their tech, and they don't care about all of the hype surrounding the bull run and the Bitcoin hitting all-time high and all these things. So if we kind of run through, clearly they've got a lot of investors here. They've got no issues doing what they need to do. So the media advisors, Steve Chen, YouTube, Sam Wick, Sony, Justin Kan, Twitch. We've got Microsoft, Jonathan Wong, Verizon. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and they're very transparent. They do ask me anythings all the time. In the link in the description of the video, I'm gonna post links to all they've got a Discord that's reliable with mods that are very helpful. Some of the YouTubers that talk about Theta in helpful ways that I find, or some of the instructional videos for setting up wallets and downloading an edge node and all the step-by-step instructions. I'll have videos for that. I'm not going to kind of go through that right now. I don't think that makes much sense. But yeah, so I guess to go off of the basic Theta token, we've got the Theta Wallet. And like I was just saying, I'll post a video to how that actually works and to set one up. But what's kind of interesting is you've got a password and you've got a key store file, which is a little document that you download when you create your wallet. And it's recommended to keep that not on your computer, somewhere off, like on a external storage, not connected to your computer or the internet. And whenever you open your wallet, you just need to verify it with that key store file. It's like a little extra verification. And if you know more about cryptocurrencies, then you can get into hardware like Trezor or Ledger, and those are ways. That's probably the safest way. But I'm not even doing that yet. I'm taking this very slow. I'm just reading. I'm excited about the technology. I'm not trying to throw my money at it. I'm not trying to be irresponsible. And buying one of these isn't irresponsible, but I just have so little invested that it's not a concern of mine at the moment. But yeah, they've got many ways to secure your money. Making the wallet is very quick, and they've got a Google Chrome extension as well, so you can use it very intuitively. And part of that roadmap there, a few of the things I skipped over because it was more tech jargon, had to do with their wallet updates and one-click delegation and different ways that you can gain passive income and with your T-Fuel. So you can gain T-Fuel by doing these edge compute jobs, and then there's additional ways to then stake that T-Fuel and then gain passive income and interest on that T-Fuel. And by doing that, you're supporting the network and strengthening everything and also being rewarded. So it's that's what I think gets confusing with this stuff, because it has a lot of it's new. There's a lot of scammers taking advantage of people that are new, that don't understand it yet. Because of that, and because of the things you kind of have to do, it feels pyramid schemey, and like Drew was joking about last time, like multi-level marketing scheme-esque. But that's why I'm making this video as well, is this doesn't require you to purchase anything. This just, let's go to the Edge node, because, yeah, well, I'll have a video to make the wallet. That doesn't cost you anything. And then we'll go over to the Edge node and take a look at that. And you can download that for free. And there we go. Okay, actually, here's the map, and it's kind of cool because you get to see the network growing. When we started researching and got more heavily involved, this was around 8,000. When we finally got our Edge node up and our Guardian node up and all that, this was just over 2,000, and this was just over 10,000. And now these are Actually, I don't know about the Guardian nodes. Those move up and down a bit more, but the Edge nodes for sure have gone from 10,000 to 14,000 rather quickly, which is great news. The goal that Theta has is to get these to 100,000 by the end of the year. So that's, I guess, when it really comes down to, initially I was thinking I was just going to have this video unedited, but it's been pretty long and rambly, so I'm probably going to edit it a bit. The main purpose of this video was to let people know about Edge nodes and hopefully encourage people to download an Edge node on their computer. Most of the people that will be watching this, that I've posted, that may be watching it from my actually probably everyone in the community. A lot of us are musicians, producers, photographers, videographers, some kind of creative industry where we usually have at least a decent laptop or a decent computer. And the requirements for running an Edge node are very small, and you don't even notice it happening if you're running it on a low compute setting. So there's a lot of people here that can participate by very quickly just going through these videos that I'm going to post and downloading the stuff and signing up and just starting to strengthen the network. And of course, if anyone wants to contact me personally on whatever, Facebook or whatever, I will we can talk about it that way as well. That's kind of why we want to avoid talking about price or investing too much, is because there's too many people that will take your word for things when we're still figuring stuff out, and we're not trying to give people vague advice on a video and not be clear and nuanced. So if you want to have a nuanced conversation of this kind of stuff, then feel free. But yeah, we're going to keep this a bit more generic. So this Edge node map, or this node map in general, shows you all the yellow dots are the Edge nodes, the blue dots are Guardian nodes, red are the Validator nodes. And yeah, you can zoom in and click on these to expand them out. It's just kind of like an interesting visual to show you what's going on. You Can't zoom in a whole lot. But yeah, you've got all these different things going on, which is pretty cool. This has grown pretty exponentially, and we're hoping to help Theta with their journey and their mission of getting these to 100,000 this year. And if we can get a lot of people in London, especially because that's where we're streaming from, if we can get a lot of edge nodes running in London, that means we can do our decentralized streaming faster, and everyone can participate and gain T-Fuel and tip the artists in T-Fuel, and we can pay everyone for what they're doing without having to go through all these middle bottleneck systems like YouTube or Facebook Live or Instagram Live or whatever. So, if you go to thetatoken.org, you will start out on this page. You scroll down below Steve Chen. You've got live network stats. You've got the map. Then you've got join the network. Theta Guardian node is something else. If you want to know about those, I would just message me personally or do your own research. It's not that complicated. It's just it's not the focus of this video. Instead, it's Theta Edge node. So you'll either download for Mac or Windows. And I think I'm going to pull up some Theta Edge node. Some information on it. Oh, here we go. So I'll probably link to this. I'm going to try and keep it all within the system for all the videos I link in the description. So here's the video of actually how to make your own Theta Edge node. And you need the Theta Wallet first. And the reason you need that is because they need to send your T-Fuel rewards somewhere. I guess I'll pop open mine. I'm still so new to this, I don't know technically. You have to be so careful with what information you're showing publicly. So I'm probably going to, in post, blur out all the information that I think is damning or hackable. Maybe none of it is, I'm not sure. But this is what the Edge node will look like when you've opened it up on your when it's fully connected. So we've got our wallet here. That's a public address, so if anyone wanted to send us Theta or T-Fuel, they could send it to us using that address. This is our pending earnings for the month. And all the different cash jobs, there's none happening right now, but if someone's uploading a video or a stream in the area, then it goes through this. And these are all the different video encoding jobs that have been happening. And right now it's doing a folding at home computer folding thing. It's that vaccine and science research stuff. And we're also staking our T-Fuel and gaining passive T-Fuel income. And then also this whole edge node system, it's actually really cool how they have it. They have the cache compute here. They've got the stake T-Fuel here. And then they've got the watch decentralized streams here. This might not load because I've got a bunch of stuff running on my computer right now. It's probably not happy. And then you've got your, if you want to stream, decentralized right here. And it's all within the same kind of program, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the Edge node. And yeah, watch the video, go through it. If you have any extra questions, let me know. It's incredibly user-friendly. You can stream to it just through OBS. Like I'm recording this video on OBS right now, and if I wanted to stream this on Theta TV, I would just change the server and the stream key and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, it's pretty great. So I guess let's go back to make sure I covered everything. Did a brief idiot's overview of what the Theta Network is and what they're trying to achieve. The decentralized data streaming and storage and video streaming and making things cheaper and faster and being able to do things at a higher efficiency and rewarding a mass network of edge nodes and microtransactions for doing this work instead of having all of it go through a centralized system. We've got the Theta Wallet, which is if you purchase Theta tokens or T-Fuel, you can store them in here. If you download an edge node, you have to have your T-Fuel stored in this wallet, or some version of it. And if you want to stream, if you're there's a lot of people that are starting to stream their music or their video game streaming. If you want to be a streamer on Theta TV, set up a Theta wallet, and when you become what do you call it? Not partner is one of them, but affiliate or partner, you can actually withdraw that T Fuel from your streaming income into this Theta wallet and then actually withdraw it into cash as well, which is pretty cool. I believe there's also a cash out, like a direct cash out option if you're an affiliate or a partner as well. So yeah, we've got the Theta Token website, we got the Theta Token wallet. I just suggest going through the Theta stream a little bit, Theta TV. It's kind of cool. You get to see all the different things that they've got going on. Yeah, I've got a lot. My CPU is running hot right now, so I don't know if I'm gonna pop any of these open at the moment with all this going on. But I do recommend checking out Theta Network and all the different streams. They've got partnerships. One of the partnerships is with Lionsgate. I believe it's Lionsgate becomes the latest Hollywood studio to bring content to Theta Network. So that's not gonna quite be like Netflix, where it gets dicey with what do you call it, licensing. But I believe instead of having it's going to be uploaded in streaming, kind of like you'll have to catch it live, kind of. They're going to be they're still kind of dabbling with this stuff. I believe that's the case. Next we click learn more. But I believe in March they're going to be having early March through summer 2021. So I believe they're going to be running like movie nights. So it's not going to be straight Netflix or whatever where you just, now forever these videos are on Theta TV. There's going to be like a kind of a promotional period where they're going to have a series of movie nights, and you're going to be able to watch a bunch of those classics on Theta TV, which is really cool. Yeah, so I think that's the basics of what I wanted to go over without boring anyone or rambling on too long. Theta is something that I've become really passionate about. I just learned about it just a bit over maybe a month and a half ago, and it really connected with the tech part of my interests, but also the feeling for wanting kind of monetized freedom as a content creator. Like, it feels like we're always fighting different outside forces to just be paid for the content we make. All these massive companies like Spotify and YouTube, they're all multi-billion-dollar companies and owned by trillion-dollar companies, and it's cool that this is offering, although Google is a validator node, with all of the Guardian nodes run and owned by the public, it creates a decentralized system that allows people to participate on a more level playing field. And if we can build up a strong network in London of edge nodes and people participating, then it's only going to be better for everyone. And I truly believe this is going to be an inevitability with what they've got going on. They're partners with Sony and Samsung to put some of this stuff into the smart TVs and to be doing a lot of this edge caching and edge processing behind the scenes, and you don't even realize it's happening. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on, a lot of partnerships in the works, and I think if you're a content creator and you're interested in monetizing your streams, your podcasts, your live performances that are on video, I think it's in your best interest to at least take a look at it. And along with that, hopefully follow along with our podcast, because we're going to be continuously talking about Theta Networks most specifically, but also dabbling with some other cryptocurrencies that cater to the creatives, because it's primarily been focused on a financial market and people interested in either decentralized finance or playing like the crypto casino, which I'm not really too interested in either. The decentralized finance I think is great, and it's going to be revolutionary, but I don't have a whole lot of knowledge there. Where I do feel comfortable is live streaming, a bit more comfortable at least, and where I can see direct benefit is with Theta and using live streaming. So yeah, we're excited to be talking about this and doing as much with Theta Network as we can, and I hope you found this at least somewhat comforting, watching me babble through a bunch of stuff. And we're not experts. We're just trying to break some of the stigma of stuff. We're trying to figure out kind of this new technology and how we can utilize it to help ourselves and everyone around us and the musicians we work with, so we can prosper together, essentially. So yeah. I'm not really sure how all this is working out yet, but I guess this will be probably on YouTube. So if you want to like and subscribe, that'd be great. I don't think I'm going to post this on Theta TV because this is going to be nonsense. Everyone on there already knows all this stuff. But we have a Theta TV channel, so I'll post the link to that if you want to follow us on there and see our first podcast episodes and further podcast episodes. I'll have the links to the videos to make your own wallet, to download an edge node and set up an edge node, and I'll link to the Discord and all the trustworthy people to ask questions, so you don't end up doing anything weird. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Peace.